Okay, so I want to quickly take you through the steps for starting on SketchUp, give you an idea of what you can work on this week, and how to turn in your assignment. So first off, SketchUp for schools is available through your Google account. So here I'm in my robotics. You can access it from your email. Go up to the Google Apps and scroll down for SketchUp for schools. When I open that up, it's going to ask me to sign in with my Gmail. As that's loading, oh, here we go. Sign in with Google. So I want to choose my Google account. Make sure you choose your school account. And it's going to take me to just the home screen of SketchUp. So SketchUp is a 3D modeling software that's used in some cases for creating stuff to be 3D printed. It could also be used to create blueprints or models for architecture design, civil engineering, any kind of materials engineering. But the SketchUp for schools is the free version that we're going to use. And there's a few tutorials and stuff in here that you're welcome to look through. But I just want to start modeling. I just want to start making something here. And you'll see that it opens up with this guy here. Some random guy with some weird bolo tie and jacket. I don't know what's going on there. But he is there to give us a sense of scale. And so as you can see, he is standing right here at the origin. I've got 3 axes located here. I've got a blue going straight up and down. That's the Z axis. So it's positive above ground and negative below ground. And then I've got the green and red axes that are my X and Y. I can rotate this view by clicking on the tool down here that says orbit. It looks like a little orbiting thing, and click and drag to rotate up and down and around. And I can also move my field, move the frame of reference around by holding down the shift key and dragging, moving that guy around. And I'm going to orbit this and focus on the positive part of this XY axis. So again, Z is going up and down. I got X and Y going to the side. Negative is the dotted lines. Positive is the solid lines. Of course, that doesn't really matter. You can draw your design anywhere you want to. I'm going to start by choosing a shape. I'm going to make a rectangular shape here. And I'm just going to give you a basic overview of how to draw stuff, and then guide you to a few tutorials you can use to give you an idea of how you can make something here. But anywhere I click is going to be the spot where it puts the corner of my rectangle. And then as I drag it out, it makes the rectangle bigger. If I want to make sure that it's a perfect square, when I drag it out, I move it so that I see a dotted line going across the middle of the rectangle. And I click and choose the spot where I want to put that. And then again, I can move my orientation so I can see. I can rotate this to look straight from above. It doesn't really look like a perfect square, does it? So let's see. I can measure this and see what happened. I'm going to go to the measuring tape here. And there's a couple different tools here. I'm going to choose the dimensions measuring tape so that I can actually click and show the dimensions. So I'm going to click and drag that out there, and click on the edge and move it out there. Okay, so it seems that that is not a perfect square. So let's see what happened. Let's draw another square here and see if I can make one that is perfect. So let's do this. And let's see. If I want to, hold still. There we go. So that, again, that doesn't look like a real square. It says it's a golden section. Let's see what that is. So again, I'm going to use my measuring tool here and click on the edge. That one's 6 feet by 10 feet, so a little bit different. So let's see. Let's say I want to make a shape exactly to my own specifications. Okay, so let's try this. Someone draw over here. Hold up. So let's draw another square. So in the bottom right corner, I can see the dimensions. I can see the square as I'm drawing it. And so as I move it around, it shows me exactly how big of a square or a rectangle I'm making here. So that right there, if I look at the bottom right, it looks like I've got a square, and I can see it says square. And again, I could do my measurements to show that that is a square. So the shapes you make in this can be read, the dimensions can be read in the bottom right-hand corner. To make things three-dimensional, I use my push-pull tool, and I can see that I've got a couple different options here. I want to do the first one that says push-pull. Looks like a block with an arrow coming out of it. And I just highlight a surface that I want to turn into 3 dimensions, highlight it, click and drag, and I can make it as tall as I want. I could also go around to the other side here. So I want to extend this block, click and drag here, and I've got a wider block. The other thing I can do is I can add shapes. I can add stuff to this by adding more shapes on the face of this and dragging those out. I could also alter the surface, one of the surfaces here. So say I want to put a roof across this thing here. I'm going to click on anywhere on the edge, and as you move your pencil around here, you'll see that it tells you what you're highlighting. So this is the midpoint, which means this is the very middle of that line segment. So if I click there and I make my line, notice this is a red line because that means it's parallel to the red axis over there. If I move it along, I can see that's not red anymore, it's black, which means it's not perfectly parallel to the other sides. And same if I go over here, it tells me there's the corner there. So I want to go to the other midpoint straight across so that I have a parallel line. Then I'm going to choose the move tool. So this thing that looks like four arrows. And I want to click right on that edge. Let me first rotate my screen here. So I'm going to click right on the edge on that line, and I want to move that line. I'll click and hold it down and move up. I can see that I'm raising the entire face, and there's a blue dotted line that tells me I'm going straight up. If I go off to the side, again, that blue line turns to black. And there it's blue again. It tells me it's on the blue axis, which means it's going straight up. If I go over here, it changes. So the colors on SketchUp give you an idea of how you're oriented. Again, because it's really hard to tell just by looking at this stuff, how it is. Perspective changes as you rotate. So use the colors, use the help bar on the right side. There is the instructor button, which tells you what each tool does as you click on it. So if I click on the line tool, then it tells me what's going on over here on the line tool. If I click on the rulers, it tells me how to use the measuring tool and the orbiting tool and all the other fun stuff. So what you're going to do this week is you're going to play around with Google SketchUp, and I want you to actually try to create a house. And I'll show you this link, SketchUp for Schools, Build Dream House Tutorial. There's lots of great tutorials, of course, on YouTube. Just make sure when you look for a tutorial, it says SketchUp for Schools, because that's the version that we're using. We're not using the full SketchUp version. I don't want you to find something that gives you directions for tools that we don't have. So SketchUp for Schools, Build Dream House Tutorial. I'll share this link on Google Classroom. And that will walk you through the basics of how to build a house with a swimming pool. If you want to build a house different from what they've got, feel free to. Again, it just gives you the basic idea of how to build things and how to use the tools. And then when you're finished, and this is the important thing, when you're finished, you're going to save your work. And I want you to save it with your name. So I'm saying Mixon House. Make sure your name is on the file and click OK. So I've got it saved, and it's going to save to my Google Classroom folder. So I'm going to choose select and save it there. Okay, so now this is saved. And I encourage you to start saving, to save as soon as you start creating something. So if you make a mistake, you're able to go back to your save document and fix it. Okay. So and then so that's, I'll say that's my house for right now. Obviously, you're gonna make something much nicer because you're gonna build a dream house. This looks more like a little shed that my guy could barely fit into here. And then when I'm ready to turn it in, I'm gonna go to um, the assignment, and it's gonna be your SketchUp assignment page, and choose add or create, and I want to click on Google Drive, and you're going to turn in your hat. Look, there's the one I just created. Mix in the house. Make sure your name is on it. Click add. So it's going to upload that for me, and then I'll click turn in and set. So again, save this with your name, go to the Google Classroom and turn in your assignment by uploading it to me. And that will be our work for the week. I hope you enjoy using SketchUp. Play around with it. Let's see how creative we can get with our designs this week.